Go
Okay.
ahead. By the way, last week, Saturday, I couldn't still, yesterday, last night, I tried to prepare video for our discussion, but I viewed the last 20 minutes couple of times, but still
Right.
I'm not clear for understanding about productivity, about some GDP,
Right.
especially productivity. I'm not
What do you
still
see?
not clear. So I think this is
Okay.
difficult to understand. I think you have better more politely explanation for Takahashi, but he might not be understand.
Okay. Um, all right. So basically, we're starting the series. We started on Saturday, New Technology and the Future of Japan. Um, uh, the idea behind this series is that we have been talking about um, the demographic situation in Japan, an aging society, where we are basically okay, cancel this, where we are with a declining population, and the population is getting older, and there's a need to grow the output per person in order to be able to sustain our level of income in Japan. And in order to do that, we need, well, basically productivity. There is a lot of there are assumptions that productivity will grow, and because of that, we will be able to increase the output per person, and because of that, we will be able to sustain our income. But the question is, will this really be the case? Okay, what kind of technology are we talking about? We had a brief look at, for example, artificial intelligence. We looked at biotechnology. We looked at no, we didn't look at IoT yet, but there are a lot of things that look very promising. It will have a lot of impact on our society, but will it indeed grow our productivity per head? So what we will look at in this series is to look at the technology and how it will impact Japan. So Paul Krugman says, why is productivity so important? It's the country's ability to improve the standard of living over time depends almost entirely on its ability to raise its output per worker. And so, like Japan, we don't have a lot of natural resources, so it's crucial to Japan that you increase your productivity, because we cannot just extract it from the soil. Then there is, when we talk about innovation, it's not just one product, like a steam engine, or or like a car, for example. That those are the popular ideas about innovation, but actually there's a lot of innovation. We had, for example, in the past, the alphabet was a big invention, because it allowed us to start to write things down and to communicate via paper, so that it greatly increases the reach of people's ideas and art and what have you. It created the Bible, which became the guideline for Western societies to actually start wars. The input of the alphabet was very big. Software code is another symbolic innovation, where we are able to steer a computer just by writing with the alphabet or software code, which is a huge improvement over the zeros and ones that the computer actually reads. Another big innovation was the domestications of wild animals and plants. Basically, people were hunters and gatherers, but it changed after we started to learn how to grow the land and how to lay it barren for a while, and we were able to settle down raise farms, and dramatically increase our productivity. So we could work and live with more people, smaller piece of land, and that would enable us to settle down and then to actually grow our population. Technological innovation, new organizations and new combinations, that's also very important. There have been a few breakthrough innovations in, for example, the combustion engine, but what happened after that is that the combustion engine has been used in many different applications, not only the car, but in lots of machines and ships, in airplanes. So it's a very big invention that can lead to a lot of new innovations. Institutional changes, for example, double entry bookkeeping, that makes it possible to invest in companies and to trace how they're doing. Just-in-time inventory in Japan, organizational forms like corporations, the first stock-traded company in the Netherlands, forms of governance, the Constitution in the United States, product standards, the ISO label, and explanations, which were also very, very important, like the work of Newton. That was the start of a complete revolution, because that allowed us to come up with a lot of new ideas based on that fundamental explanation of Newton. We were able to create a whole new insight in the world, and that enabled people to come up with new innovations. So the message here is that basically it's not just one thing when we're talking about innovation. It's actually the whole ecosystem of innovations that is important when you talk about innovation. There have been different phases of innovation. We'll not talk too long about it. We had the early modern mechanization phase, where people started to build farms, and especially around the textile industry, there was some mechanization. So we used water to power the flow of water to power the weaving machines. Then the next phase, we started to use a few steam engines. The steam technology improved dramatically, and then it was not only available anymore in the textile industry, but also in other industries. We started to build ships, railroads, and we started to use coal as our source of energy instead of water. So that phase of the industrialization was mainly driven by the United Kingdom. Then later, the United States took over, and their source of energy was oil, Texas oil, and they invented, or they embraced the internal combustion engine, and their means of communication was radio, television, so that became very important, and telephone. So there have been different phases of innovation. Information technology, now computers, where the industrial revolution first enabled us to actually enhance our body strength and to do things, doing things 24 hours a day without the need to sleep. The machines, we are now capable of using information technology to empower our brain, to store information, to retrieve information.
Could you change the screen for the presentation mode?
Right. Yes.